So jumping straight into this tutorial, the first thing I'm going to do is start off by brushing out my brows. I'm using a Morphe 158 brush to go ahead and comb out any hairs, and then after that I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the color Granite, and I'm going to go ahead and start carving out the shape that I want. I start off with the bottom and then make sure it's nice and sharp, fill in the middle, and then go ahead and outline the top of my brow. So next I'm going to brush all those little hairs and make sure I get all the product nice and blended, and then I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Original, and I'm going to start packing that all into my crease and onto the lid. Next I'm going to take my favorite concealer. This is the Makeup Revolution concealer. The color is C13. I really like this concealer because it's really like a matte finish once you get it all blended in. So I'm just taking that, smoothing it out, highlighting underneath my brow to get that really sharp and clean look. And I'm using a Morphe 224 brush to make sure that those edges are really nice and sharp. I'm then going to take a Morphe 173 buffer to just buff all that product into the crease and make sure it's nice and blended in. Then I'm going to take my Scotch tape and make sure I place it on a sharp angle to get that really clean cut. So the palette that I'm using today is the Ace Beaute Classical Paradise palette. This palette is really pretty, has a lot of like warm tones to it. So I knew I wanted like a more warm look, so I decided to use this palette. The color that I'm using is Earth, which is like this really warm reddish brown color. And as you guys can see, the pigment is really nice. So what I'm doing is just taking a Morphe 321 brush, which is just a really nice bullet brush. So it's going to get all the product directly into the crease. So I'm just going to continue to pack all that color on, and I'm actually angling it into like a little wing shape because that's the look that I was going for today. I know I wanted like a winged look, so I'm just kind of outlining how I want my wing to look. So we're going to continue to pack that color on until we get the intensity that we want. I want a really intense cut crease, so I'm just going to continue to pack this color into the crease. Next, I'm going to take a Morphe 455 brush and use the Juvias Place Chocolate palette. I'm going to take that deepest, darkest brownish color that's in the palette to deepen up the crease. So I'm following the shape of the wing with this color just to make sure it's nice and blended. And this brush is really good for like getting that really good detail in the crease without blowing the color out. I'm then going to go back in with that same earth color from the classical palette and just kind of re-outline some of that brownish that kind of faded as we were putting in the brown. And as you guys can see, I'm still following that same wing shape just to keep the shape perfect. So for my brow highlight, I decided to use the Juvias Place Saharan palette, and the color that I'm using is Aziza. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, it's really bright shade that I always use for underneath my brow for my highlight. I just really like how the color pays off. And then I'm going to just take a regular blending brush and just blend that product out. So then I'm going to go in with more of that earth color, and I'm using a Morphe E36 brush. This brush is a smaller taper blending brush, and I just really use it just to kind of blend out any shadows that I want. And as you guys can see, it's doing its justice for me on this look. I really like how it's blending out that brownish color. So I'm going to continue to blend it out until I get the payout that I want. And as you guys can see, the blend is there. Yes. So just taking my time going back and just making sure everything is nice and smooth and blended out. And then we're going to cut on to cutting this crease. So now I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution concealer again. This color is in C12. It's just really like a shade lighter than the C13. But I really like using this concealer because it's light enough, but it's not too light, and you don't have to deal with like the white instead. I just really like using this color. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my crease like normal, and I'm following that same wing shape. And the brush that I'm using for this is the Morphe 213. This is my favorite brush that I use for cutting my crease. It's really small, and you can get very close to the edge without going over. So I'm just going back in and touching up anything that needs to be touched up, making sure that crease is nice and smooth and sharp. And also I'm packing in that primer or the concealer just to make sure it's nice and flat and blended in. And you really want to take your time with doing cut creases. I know a lot of people struggle with doing a cut crease. I did at first too. But the more you practice, you will get better. It's all about like being steady with your hand and really concentrating. It is a tedious thing to do, but once you really get the hang of it, you won't want to do anything else. So then I'm going to go in with one of my favorite palettes, the Huda Beauty. This is the Remastered palette, the rose gold. So I'm going to take that color, the 24K, which is a really bright gold, like pigment and glitter kind of shadow. I really like this shadow because as you guys can see, it's super shiny, and the gold just kind of like pops out at you. So I'm going to start by packing that all over the lid and filling in that cut crease space. And the brush that I'm using is a Morphe 167 brush to pack all that color in. So after I gotten all the product in, I'm going to start off by making my wing. I decided to put on my mascara first because sometimes I have troubles with my lashes. They curl up really tight, and they kind of get in the way when I'm doing my liner. So I decided to use my mascara first, and then I'm going to go in with the NYX Epic Wear waterproof liner and just go ahead and start lining my lid. And I decided to keep my liner kind of simple. I didn't want it to be super thick. So I just made like a really thin liner, and also following that same wing shape. So once I've gotten my liner to my liking, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping my lid for the glitter. I'm going to use a Morphe 421 brush, and I'm going to start applying the NYX glitter glue. That's just going to give the glitter something to stick to before I put it on. So I'm putting that all over, well, not all over the lid. I started out by doing like maybe half the lid first. That way the glitter glue doesn't dry down so fast. So I started out by doing that, and then we're going to jump into our glitter. The glitter that I'm using is just some regular Amazon glitter that I got. It came in like a pack of like 42 different colors or something like that. And this gold was so pretty. I knew I wanted to use it for this look. So I'm just going to continue to pack all this glitter onto the glue. Make sure it's nice and stuck. And as you guys can see, this glitter is popping. I love how it's really shiny and the pigment is really, really nice in this. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue with the other half of the lid. Same thing, I'm going to apply the glitter glue and then go back in with the glitter on top of that. So once I got all the glitter in, I'm going to go back in with the same NYX eyeliner and just kind of touch up my eyeliner in case any glitter may have gotten caught within a liner that I've previously applied. I'm just going to go back over that and make sure it's nice and sharp and neat. Alright, I'm going to go back in with the same mascara, and the mascara that I did use was from MAC, and it's the Haught and Naughty Waterproof Mascara. Just place it all over my lid and then go ahead and pop on my lashes. And I didn't show this part on camera, but I did go back in with the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liner Glitter in gold. And I just kind of like placed that in the really tiny spaces of my crease just to give it like that final pop of color. And this is the final look, guys. Look at that glitter. Look how it just pops out. And I love how the glitter is like a perfect combo with the brown. So I went ahead and did the rest of my face off camera. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I had so much fun doing this. I love the pop of color. I'm going to make sure I list all the products in the description box below. Please make sure you guys like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.